Hey everyone, Steven here from Radolescence. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning back to another fragrance review. And today we're actually going to be taking a look at a company called FMJ Parfums, a little bit more of an obscure company. And the fragrance is called Full Metal Jacket. So here's the bottle. This one, I don't have a year of release for this one, nor do I know who the perfumer is, who should be credited with this composition. But I have looked online and I noticed that they have a few other scents, many of which have actually been compared to some more popular designer scents. So this company may have products that are the result of reverse engineering. I'm not entirely sure about that though. So this one is classified as an Oriental Spicy, and the way that I encountered this scent is I was walking through the mall and I happened upon one of those little kiosks that you see in the middle of the mall, and I noticed that they were selling this at a really steep discount. I think it was like a little over $10 or something like that. So I was like, at that price, I guess you can't really go wrong. So I ended up forking the money over, bought this scent, and now I'm excited to tell you guys what I think about it. But first up, let's take a look at the presentation. So here's the box for Full Metal Jacket. This is an aluminum tin. But it does have the image embossed here in the front, which I think is kind of cool. Also, all of these little dots are embossed here, so really nice attention to the presentation, despite the fact that it is an aluminum tin. It has the UPC at the bottom with the ingredients, and it's actually written in Russian. So Arabic down here, Russian up here at the top. Here are the ingredients written once again on the back in English, and the cap comes off. And there's the inside, just a little bit of cardboard to sort of keep it into place. And I would say it does a pretty good job at keeping it into place. Now, as far as the bottle goes, here it is. I think it's a pretty cool bottle. This top part here does seem a little bit fragile. There's an internal spring mechanism that allows it to open and close like that. It does kind of resemble like a brass musical instrument. It opens up like that, it reveals the atomizer, and the distribution is a little bit narrow, but it gets the job done. And FMJ written here on the front, Full Metal Jacket. It is starting to fade off a little bit, so just be careful not to rub it. And you have nothing going on down here at the bottom, nothing at the back. And that was a presentation for Full Metal Jacket. So what do you get from this fragrance as far as the smell goes? Well, when you first apply it, you are going to get a little bit of a citrus. Now, I can't differentiate whether it's orange or lemon just because it doesn't really allow you to. I think the quality of the composition isn't the highest caliber, so you really kind of get like a generic citrusy introduction, but of course the volatility doesn't allow it to last for a very long time. And then what you're going to get secondarily is like the sugar overtone to the composition. And I like the sweetness. And at first I was a little skeptical, a little pessimistic, if you will. I was like, oh, I think this is going to be a little bit too sweet, a little tooth-achingly sweet. But no, it actually subdued a little bit, and then it got to a pretty modest level of sweetness. So I like that about it. So it is a little bit sugary in the opening. For a second, it was slightly reminiscent of like Michael Jordan Legend or something like that. Of course, it doesn't quite have that same smell with that syrupy quality to it. So it's not overwhelming in that regard. And then what I get is this leather note in the mid. Now, of course, I couldn't find any of these notes online, so I'm just kind of going off of what I pick up, what my nose picks up. And in the mid of this fragrance, I do get a little bit of a leather note. Now, it's not a natural smelling leather note. It's not authentic or organic by any stretch of the imagination. It just smells a little smooth, a little leathery. Some might even go as far as saying it smells a little smoky. And because it is classified as an Oriental Spicy, maybe it does have some spices in there. Maybe it has a little bit of saffron in there or something that smells similar to saffron, because I know saffron could come together to give a fragrance sort of a leathery vibe to it. Like Byredo has a fragrance with saffron in it, kind of smells leathery. Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford also contains saffron in it. And then at the dry down, you have perhaps a little bit of vanilla, and I'm also picking up on a little bit of tonka bean as well. This one is highly reminiscent of other inexpensive scents that I have smelled, in TJ Maxx, Marshalls, like Aubusson by Man Aubusson Intense by Aubusson. That one also has a lot of tonka bean in the dry down, and it gives this fragrance sort of like a generic quality. And now in the industry, we're seeing a lot of really good interpretations of the note of tonka bean. We're seeing Versace's Eros. We're seeing Oxford Blue English Laundry. So we have a lot of really great scents out there. So I don't know if you would necessarily really want to smell this one. So anyway, this one is sweet. It's wearable, it's not offensive, it does have a little bit of a clean feeling because you get a little bit of that citrus in the opening. It has a playful vibe going for it. My only qualm with it is it doesn't smell natural at all, and of course if the price is at all indicative of the smell, and I think it is, then one wouldn't expect to get something of too high of a quality, and you're not going to get high quality from this composition. Overall, I just think it's nice, it's sweet. This would make a really good gift for like a high schooler if frugality is your thing, you're trying to save a little bit of money. If you know somebody who's playful, maybe like a rowdy younger cousin or something, you want to buy him something for like his 13th 14th birthday or something like that, this might actually make a pretty cool option for you. But there are other better options out there if you want to buy a fragrance for yourself. And sometimes we do get enticed by the money. Oh, it's only $10 or whatever, maybe it's going to be worth it. Sometimes I think it's best to just save your money, go with something that's a little bit more expensive. I think you'll fall in love with it that much more. Last up, we have the rating. First up, we have uniqueness and overall smell, and I'm going to go ahead and give this scent a 3 out of 10. Now, I'm not crazy about the smell. I do think that there are other great options out there that are on the sweet side, like Yopom Wild, 1 Million by Paco Rabanne, Invictus by Paco Rabanne. So I know there's a lot of hate for some of these sweet bubblegum sort of scents. So if you can imagine an inferior version of like Yopom Wild, maybe severely watered down, this is what you're going to get. But I do think that this is nice for somebody just getting into fragrances. Perhaps you have like a younger cousin or something like that who's in high school and frugality is your thing, you're trying to save a little bit of money. Hey, you might actually consider this as a solid option. As far as longevity goes, the longevity is actually okay on this one. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I do get about 4 to 6 hours with this, so I was being generous there. But as far as projection goes, I gave this one a 4 out of 10. Now, projection on this one is not great, unfortunately. This does radiate within, below an arm's length for about maybe an hour, and then it starts to sit closer to the skin. It isn't until about the 4th hour of application when it becomes a skin scent, but this one is actually so inexpensive that you could afford to not necessarily over apply, but apply several times throughout the day. So that will get you covered there. As far as versatility is concerned, I gave this one a 5 out of 10. Versatility, again, not great. You know, the smell is evocative of the colder weather, whereas the performance would do better in the hotter weather. So I think this would work really well on those intermediary seasons like fall and spring, but I wouldn't wear this one in the dead of summer. The sweetness, I think there's just enough so that it could be cloying, and then this would not withstand the harsh, rigid, frigid, temperature conditions of the winter. I think as far as, sex goes, anybody can wear this. I think the sweetness would work well for both sexes. Age range, I would recommend this for somebody who's a little bit younger, perhaps high school, freshman in college, something like that. And then social scenarios, you can definitely wear this casually, given the price point. You could even wear this one on a night out. Again, there are a lot of better options out there, and I wouldn't wear this one formally or semi-formally. That's too special of an occasion for me to go with something that cost me $10. Last up, we have presentation. I give this one a 7 out of 10. I think the apparatus up here is pretty cool, even though it does come off as a little fragile, and I think that the aluminum tin is susceptible to getting like dings and nicks in it or whatnot. But I give it a 7 out of 10, and overall, I'm going to give Full Metal Jacket by FMJ Parfums a 4 out of 10. Now, I think this is an okay scent. If you're just getting into fragrances, I think this might be a solid option for you. Also, if you're looking to buy a fragrance as a gift for someone, it is a little bit sweet, it is a little bit on the youthful side, a little playful as well, so this would make a really great gift for somebody who's a little bit younger. But as far as personal preference is concerned, there are so many other options out there that I would rather go for instead of this one. Like I said, Yopom Wild, I think this one smells very similar to it. I would rather go with you know, that one I think is a superior version to this one. So guys, thank you so much for watching. That was my review of Full Metal Jacket by FMJ Parfums. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to rate and subscribe for future videos. So again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. This has been Steven with another fragrance review from Red Essence. We'll see you soon.